What's up, gang? Daniel from D7Cs. Today I have kind of like an unboxing and a first impressions for you. This is a knife that I am really excited about, something that's been on my radar for a few years. So it's not like a new model that's come out. It's actually been around for a little while. It's just hard to get. So with that being said, I want to introduce to you this guy. Let me take off the bubble wrap. This is a Holt Bladeworks. And if you're familiar with the Holt Bladeworks, you may already know what knife this is. This is actually going to be the Holt Specter. As you can see here, it's going to be serial number 444, which I think is pretty cool. Something about their packaging, you'll see some of their knives come in boxes and then some of them come in pouches. I'm not sure exactly when they switched over to one thing or the other. I heard that there was at a point like a box shortage, and so they switched over to the pouch, and then they kind of switched back over to the boxes, and then but I kind of see both. I still see their newer models coming in pouches and in boxes, so I'm not sure what the deal is with that, but this one comes in a pouch. I am not the original owner. The original owner got this straight from the Holts themselves at, I think it was like Blade Show or one of those knife shows, right? And so this is kind of special. So let's open her up. When you get a knife, you'll get something like this. A nice kind of a padded pouch. And then let's start with their paperwork, right? They tend to have like a little personalized thank you, which is, I think, a really personal touch. I think that's kind of cool when knife makers and knife companies kind of add their own personal touch to things like this, right? And then if you go ahead and let me go ahead and put this right here, and then when you slide the stuff out, whoops, it's jumping all over the place. You'll get maybe a couple stickers, right? Something like that. And then you'll usually get a Selinko card. This is kind of like their certificate of authenticity. You could use tap your smartphone to the card, and it'll give you all the details of the knife, the model, the date it was born, so on and so forth. And then the last thing that you'll usually get, but not always from what I've seen in the forums, is the adjustable tool. You could probably get this at any tool store like a Home Depot or Lowe's, but it kind of gives you an idea of how to use this tool for their adjustable detent system. So there you go. Let me go ahead and slide this back in if I can do it. All right, there you go. And then, of course, to the star of the show, Bazamos. Here you go, the Holt Specter. Now, right off the bat, I assumed that they were not making these anymore. This is the V3, so the latest iteration will be the V4, but I thought they stopped making it, but it looks like they are still making this model, but in very, very limited batches. So you'll see them kind of come up on their Instagram, not very often, but they do still seem to be making this. And so if you are one of the lucky few who are able to snag it straight from the Holt themselves, I'd say head over to their Instagram. But yeah, this is this is the V3 frame lock. The V4 is the liner lock. But you might, right off the bat, you might be able to tell a little bit, something a little bit unique or special about this one. This one has the Damascus pocket clip, right? And if you angle it, you'll be able to see just those, beautiful, kind of unique, kind of that Damascus design that's happening. This is what they call the Prestige version. So I think there's the Refined, which is like a step down from this, and then the Prestige, when they add elements like a Damascus pocket clip and or backspacer, and they might have other kind of really cool features like a Damascus blade, so on and so forth. But here, check it out. See, it's gonna be hard to tell, but right inside right there, it says Holt Bladeworks number 444, and they'll say Specter Refined or Prestige, and then this one says Prestige. So I know exactly what kind of level of a Specter I have. But yeah, look at that beautiful. I believe they call this milling pattern the pinstripe. It's a very subtle milling pattern, very pleasant to the touch. It does add a little bit of traction for sure, a little bit of texture. I think that's beautiful. And this is it might be a little bit hard to tell because of the lighting, but this is kind of like a bronze kind of a bronze anno happening. So it's kind of hard to tell because it's kind of bright in here, but you know, you might be able to see it off of some of the ankles. But it's a beautiful bronze anno, and then you add that beautiful Damascus pocket clip, and this knife is just a looker, just absolutely stunning. What a knife! What a knife! Now, like I said, the Spectre's been around for a little while. I believe a lot of the videos that I've seen on YouTube are from like 4 years ago. So I haven't seen a lot of more recent kind of reviews of this knife. Yeah, I think definitely this is not like a new knife, but dang, when this thing came onto the knife scene, like 4 or 5 years ago, oh my gosh, it was like the hottest thing out there. Everyone wanted one. I mean, every major like knife reviewer was reviewing the Spectre. They just had high praise. There was rarely any kind of negative feedback. It was really the it knife at that time. Now I think I think it's still a really fantastic knife, but I think definitely the knife market has kind of evolved, and now there's other options out there. But wow, this is still a very impressive knife. Even after 4 or 5 years, it's still a very impressive knife. Let's open it up. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, that action is fabulous. You can see the finish is kind of, I believe they call it the near stonewash finish. It literally is kind of like a mirror finish, to be honest. You can see my phone and my face right there off of the blade. It is a very reflective finish, but I believe technically it's called their near mirror stonewash finish. So yeah, it is what it is. But wow, that action is still, oh my God, the action, I would say, is still very much up there with all of the very best kind of top tier production knives that I've ever handled. One knife I want to bring out. This is absolutely my favorite knife for the past few weeks, ever since I've had it, is the Holt Renegade. Now, this is their latest model. So this is kind of like a bookends right here. This is their first model, and then this is their latest model. And I think they've taken a lot of the very best elements of the Spectre, and they integrated it into the Renegade. So honestly, just my little kind of history with Holt Bladeworks is that the first knife I got from them, not from Holt, but the first Holt knife that I had was the Morpheus. No. It was a haptic, actually. And when I got it, honestly, I was a little bit disappointed. And I think it was that particular knife, but the what do you call it? The pivot kept coming loose, and I tried using blue Loctite, and then I reached out to the Holts, and they recommended the Vibratite. So I ended up going with Vibratite. That still did not resolve the issue. And it just I kept having issues with it. I finally just sold it at a loss. And it kind of, I don't want to say it left a bad taste in my mouth, but it kind of made me not want to try a Holt knife again. I was like, you know what? It wasn't my jam, and so it was one of those things, right? Like I kind of judged a book by its cover, and I didn't ever pick up another Holt knife for a few years, actually. And then when the Renegade came out, it really piqued my interest because it was a departure kind of from their design kind of aesthetic. And I don't know, something about the lines really spoke to me. And so I decided at that time I had, enough funds to, to go ahead and snag one up. And when I got it, I was so impressed with this knife. It really made me rethink, or it made me want to actually try another Holt knife, And so, with that being said, I started to kind of look at, I didn't want to get the haptic again. I've tried it. It wasn't my jam. I was either looking at the Morpheus or the Specter, and I was really leaning towards the Specter because, really, when you think about Holt Bladeworks, you immediately think about the Specter. They kind of came onto the market scene, or kind of came into our radars with this knife, right? And so, I was like, man, I gotta try a Specter, just to see, even after all these years, what it's like, is this still as good as like the other kind of options out there today? And when I got this guy in, I was impressed. I'll be honest. I'm very impressed that this was their first like folder. I believe they were actually making like fixed blade knives before, and this was their first kind of folder. And I'm so impressed that a new knife company, and really I think it's just like the Holt couple, the husband and wife team. I think it was the two of them. I don't know if they have more employees now, but at the time I think it was only two of them. And it's crazy that this is literally their first folder. They came up, I'm sure they had prototyped and they tried different models kind of in-house, and then this was like, they're able to refine it and bring this to the market. But wow, what a knife to like bust out into the scene. And I could see why it was literally the knife to get back in the day, because even today, 2024, I'm still impressed. I'm still very much impressed. And it has, when I handle the Renegade, it does, I could see kind of the evolution of the Specter into what the Renegade is, because the Renegade honestly is one of the best, if not the best knife I've ever handled, guys. And so, oh, excuse me. And so let me go ahead and put this back out away. Going back to this guy, wow. The action is, oh man, this action is phenomenal. What a knife. In hand, it feels very good, very ergonomic. I love kind of these neutral shaped hands, and I love when they have like a finger choil. It just really locks in the hand. It gives it that sense of like this knife is not gonna come out of your hand when you're using it, and it just feels very, very good. In the pull cut grip, it feels good. I do feel a little bit of that pocket clip, but honestly, any pocket knife with a pocket clip, you're gonna feel it. If you're gonna grip it in this kind of position, you're most likely gonna feel it. And of course, the Michael Myers grip, this feels really good because you kind of have that angle in the back to just rest your thumb, and it does have this milling pattern in the back that acts kind of like a jimping, I guess. And so it does give you like a tactile sense of, okay, like, this is where my thumb is supposed to land. It feels very good. Action, like you just saw, is, I mean, it is just, this is what Holt is known for, you guys. It's their action and their attention to detail. And then now that I'm kind of been, in their Facebook group, I do see that people use these knives. Like, they really do use this knife. I've seen folks use this knife pretty hard. And so from what I've seen, these knives they're not just, they don't just look good. They are really designed to perform. And so, when a knife company or a knife maker is able to really meld kind of aesthetic with performance, I mean, you have a winner, right? And I think that's why the Holt Specter has been become such a mainstay in the knife community, even though honestly it's a hard knife to get. I mean, you don't see these pop up in the secondary market all that often. I would say the best chance for you to get a Specter would probably is if you're in the whole official Facebook group page. I have seen like two or three Specters pop up on that Facebook group page, but they go pretty quick and they go for a good amount of money. I'll tell you that right now. I don't know what these go for table price, but I've seen it secondary anywhere from. I haven't seen anything lower than like 850, and that's literally one time. Usually, most of them I've seen it go from $1,000 and above, and so I don't know if the table price is around that or not, but these still command a pretty good, hefty price tag on the secondary, and I think part of that is that honestly, first of all, it's not just that it's hard to get and it's a little rare, but it just as a knife it's a near perfect knife. It yeah, I mean this knife it really has everything a knife enthusiast is looking for. You know, amazing action, rock solid lockup. You got this full flat grind in CPM 20 CV. Feels good in the hand. In my opinion, this knife looks absolutely sleek, elegant, beautiful. Um, you know, I mean, this knife is wow. I mean, aside from the price tag, I'll be, this is an expensive knife, but it is USA made. It's made by a very small team. At least from what I've seen, is a husband and wife team. Everything is they design in house. I don't know if they make all the parts in house. I think they do. I think they may just outsource the screws, but they outsource it to another USA based company. But I might be wrong. I don't know. But as far as I know, this is all made all in house. Oh, they may actually outsource the heat treat to Peter's Heat Treat, I think, which is Peter's Heat Treat is the best in the business, guys. I mean, they are. I think every reputable knife company, knife maker, not every, but if they're looking to outsource their heat treat, typically they'll go to Peter's Heat Treat. I mean, they are the best in the industry. With that being said, maybe this is not an unboxing. I think this is just my initial thoughts and impressions because I have been carrying and using this knife. Not okay. Honestly, I haven't used this knife. I've carried it around, but I'm definitely gonna use it, and then I think I'll have a better idea, give you guys a full on review. But I'm very impressed with this knife, guys. Like I said, this is an older model. I would love to try their latest version, which is a V4, which is a liner lock. But even this V3, man, I'm so impressed. Wow, what a knife. What a knife. I think at that time they were really pushing the boundaries. They were really implementing the latest kind of innovative elements in the knife market, including the adjustable detent system, and then they have like this integrative detent nub kind of a system happening as well. So I mean, these are the kind of features that you see now, 5 years later, in some of the kind of the higher end production knife tiers. But back in the day, I think these features really were kind of only reserved for the very top tier type stuff. And so yeah, wow, I'm very impressed. This knife, whoa. Oh, man, that action is so satisfying. Ah, it's so smooth. Man, yeah. They still got it, guys. They still got it. Yeah. And then, yes, I love the Renegade. Wow, just to see the evolution, kind of the refinements that they had made over the years. You know, like I said, I think this was back in 2019, 2020. Now we're in 2024. So to see that evolution and improvements they've made, you know, and you see the Renegade now, it's incredible. You know, I love when knife makers and knife companies continue to push the boundaries, continue to push the limits, you know, to give us knives like these. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, I talk too much. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments or any questions you may have. Drop them down below. If you like what you're watching, you know, feel free to click that thumbs up and or subscribe. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon.